Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again. Um, in this video, I'm gonna be giving you 5 reasons why most modern metal sucks. And I said most because not all of modern metal sucks, just most of it. First off is overproduction of albums, and I don't mean like they make too many albums now. Oh, I'm talking about the actual production on said individual albums. Like, for example, um, say with something like back in the day, they had limited equipment and just the technology of the time. Can be like say like 80s and stuff like that. Like they had technology, like the technology of the time was not super advanced, but they did what they did. They did what they could. But nowadays, because of so much advance in technology, uh, they a lot of times bands and or mostly the producers feel the need to cram as much just as much as they can into a production of an album. Like oh, we need it to be super loud, or oh, we need it to be super clear. Oh, this and this. Like, it's just a combination of the overproduction is just like they try to make it the best it can, which is fine. Like, they try to make albums the best they can, but that's which is fine. But they also basically they basically try to get it to as perfection as possible, which is bad because if it sounds good, it sounds good. You don't need to basically make it the best sounding album of all time. Like, they just try way too hard and just I don't know. Overproduction is a really big problem. That's one of the main reasons. One of my main 5 of why most modern metal sucks. It's it's so it's just so potent to the point where it just crushes the soul of an album. Like, for example, say the album Show No Mercy by Slayer. Like, how would that sound like if it was made today? It would sound most quite possibly very terrible. Again, high chance of overproduction. Like, it'd be super loud, super like crisp and clear, which on paper sounds good, but it just loses the soul of an album. I don't think I'm explaining this too well, but I'm pretty sure most of you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, overproduction is a huge problem, especially nowadays because we have such advanced technology in terms of recording equipment and stuff that producers feel the need to just cram pack an album with all these different like top of the line, like really new, like top of line, top of like they feel like the need to like make an album like to perfection instead of making it just sound, oh, this sounds good, we don't need to do more. Um, Another one, another one, the second one of another reason why most modern metal sucks is there's not that much talent out these days. Like, I mean, yeah, there's like talent, but like a lot of it's like mixed in nowadays with just crappy bands, you know. Like, and this particular thing goes with basically any genre of music, but metal is where it really starts to suffer a lot. And just really crappy, like untalented bands that get super like a lot of these bands like get like there's times where they get super popular, mainly for like what one hit song, or just because they are so they're like mainstream enough to where they like, oh wait, they can be played on the radio and stuff like that. Instead of finding actual talent, they just find what's the most like companies these like music companies these days find what's the most commercial sounding, and just like, oh, you're popular now because you're radio friendly or close to radio friendly enough to where you can be on the radio still. Like, I don't know, it's just like there's just not a lot of talent these days. Um, and even for the bands that are very very talented, usually they're like they're just sort of swept into the madness of the sea of just non-talent to the point where they're like kind of not really ignored but overlooked, just because of like there's talent there, but then there's even more bands that are just talentless. Like it's sort of hard to find the actual talent nowadays. Um, but yeah, that's a huge problem. Um, Another issue I have with most modern metal is now this is more of a problem with like older bands that release newer stuff. Not really with newer bands releasing stuff, but like older metal bands releasing newer stuff. Is the point where like for take I don't know, I'd say Iron Maiden for example. Um, they had some really good stuff back in the day, especially with their '80s stuff. And like what one album with their '90s stuff. But here's the problem with bands like that, like older bands releasing newer stuff. Like yeah, they could release some really good stuff. But the problem comes down to the point of them trying to keep with the times, which again on paper doesn't sound too bad, but the fact that they are willing to change their style of music to basically still be like super popular instead of like uh, um, sticking to what they know the fans really want. Like here's the thing, yeah, basically what they do is like a lot of times like older bands nowadays release music that will still make them headlines, still make them very big and very popular, even risking basically sacrificing the fact that they'll lose their hardcore fans like a lot of times because like like instead of playing what their true like their fans really want, they still like they go more commercial. They like make sure they stay on top and just put out basically what the label wants or like what they need to just stay up on top, even if it doesn't sound too good. Um, like that's not a problem with like it's not a like a problem that's like with every older band that makes newer music. Just with certain times with certain bands, they do a lot of times release albums that just don't sound good, but and like they just want to keep with the trends and stuff, instead of staying true to their how they actually should sound in terms of what actually keeps audiences coming back. And that's another thing. Um, is that was it? I'm on number 4, I think. 3, 4. Yeah, I think I'm number 5 now. Actually, another thing is selling out. Another huge problem. Like, yeah, bands back in the day did sell out, but not as much as they do now. Um, Basically, everyone knows the story of how this goes down. A band gets a huge, it gets very popular, and then like say like a company, like a radio company or the label is like, hey, you guys want to stay popular? Oh, you guys want to be even more popular? Well, commercialize your music, make it radio friendly, and we'll make sure you stay super popular. And if the bands are desperate enough or petty enough or just really don't care about the fan base they already grew, they'll take it. That's what happened with Metallica, with starting with Master of Puppets. Like before that, their first 2 albums were pretty decent. I know I'm not a huge fan of Metallica, but their first 2 albums were pretty decent. But then starting with Master of Puppets, they became more commercial, more like radio friendly and stuff like that, to the point where they were obviously actually by the time of the Black Album, they were. It was very obvious that they sold out. Um, I mean, there are bands that like realize that they like, oh wait, selling out's not too good. We're gonna go back to the way things should be. But a lot of bands don't. A lot of bands just like, oh, we're still super popular. Let's keep it that way. Instead of staying true to what the fans want. Um, but yeah, this was just 5 reasons why most modern metal sucks. This is just a rant or ramble video, just me sharing my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.